Perkz and Vulcan almost got into a fist fight in the middle of the series after game 2.
Can you show everyone your jersey? Just stand up real quick.
Okay,
You're going to be out of frame, but
here you go.
This is big jersey for Big Fudge. That's too big.
I have a 3XL jersey, and the sizing was a lot bigger than the last jersey's 3XL.
What?
And I also lost weight, so it's not working out right now.
Hey man, like, I feel like that's a good thing though.
It is a good thing. It feels slightly good, but it's also like, damn, I kind of want clothes that like, don't look like I'm wearing a dress. I like the design of the jersey. Like, I don't mind the design of the jersey, but it's just too big is the problem.
Hey man, what was the motivation? You had all this weight loss going on. Was it Twitter?
No, it actually wasn't. I don't feel like I feel like when I was really like overweight at my heaviest, I didn't even feel like people were like shitting on me that hard. Like, as you'd expect, for like someone that's like very controversial, like they're gonna like, people are gonna hate me, so they're gonna want to like shit on me really hard.
Yes, I mean you're one of the few guys that like never. You said controversial things, but backed it up. I feel like you had rare times where you said something controversial and it was completely wrong, and then you ended up with pie in your face.
Well, I mean, there was like the international events where like I might have said that I was gonna beat some international player it was like kind of like as a joke, and everyone knows that I don't mean it. Like, I don't mean I'm gonna put bin in the bin. Like, I don't actually think I'm gonna put bin in the bin, But some people do. Some people actually think I mean that. But I mean, it's all fun and games at the end of the day. But yeah, the motivation was just like, I mean, I want to be healthier.
Sure.
I felt, I don't know, I just felt like depressed about the way I looked.
Oh wow.
And I didn't like it. I haven't liked it since I was young, and I still, to be honest, like still pretty insecure about it. And I think a lot of people are, especially on the internet with like social media and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely feeling better about the way I look now, and it's a good process. But also just like mentally, I feel way clearer. I just feel happier in general.
Yeah.
I'm definitely happier with like my habits day to day, where I'm not eating like a lot of sugary food.
So what changed? Yeah.
I basically like now I'm basically just eating like once a day.
Okay.
I'm eating a pretty big meal once a day, but it's very low carbs. It's basically keto.
You're low carb. Yeah, okay. That's what I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It works.
It does work.
It sucks.
It's kind of so I started going really strict like about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Before that I was like kind of like, oh, I'll have like a little bit of rice, Now I'm like no carbs, basically, like maybe 10 grams of sugar a day.
Yeah.
And my sleep was actually struggling quite a bit for like about 5 or 6 days, where I kept waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything else the same. So I assume it was something to do that I've read online, that there's some like correlation between that. And obviously just like low energy, cognitive function is like you just feel slow.
Yeah.
But after like a week and a half, I would say, I feel pretty good now, and I have not eaten before my game, and I still feel good now. I don't feel hungry, so.
Noticeable change.
Yeah.
Noticeable change from that image of you wrestling with whoever. Do you remember? Was that with Mithy?
Wrestling?
Yeah, it was you were in a white shirt. Was it you and Blabber? Was it you and Vulcan? It was your rookie. It was rookie split.
I wrestled someone?
There was someone where it was like you guys were rolling around in the ground at the front door of the Cloud9 house.
There's no way I did that.
I'm highly sure. I'm highly sure.
Do you want to bet? I'll give you $500. You give me $50.
Yeah.
If you can find that image,
I'll find that image.
I will give you $500.
There it is. All right. That's an easy $500, everyone. I wouldn't have made that up.
I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
Like, it's like, because the meme was like, he's a mountain of a man. Look at him. Like, do you really want to take him on? You were like hugging or holding or like pinning someone down.
Pinning someone down?
Like hugging, like playfully.
2021.
It was playfully.
2021.
It was something like that. Yeah.
I'll give you $500 if you can find that.
Okay, I'll find it.
I cannot find that. And it has to be, I'm like on the ground.
Yes, that's why. You were on the ground.
I'm on the ground and I'm holding someone like this.
And I hadn't met you yet before, so I remember thinking, I was like, he doesn't look that big.
Yeah.
And then I met you, I was like, oh my God, this camera, this photo did not do it justice. And now you're like, wow, you're not that big anymore. Congrats. Congrats.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
All right, I brought it all the way around.
We're gonna be like Honsa soon. Honsa's the goal.
Is he the most jacked guy in the LCS?
I think so. In the LCS, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, what was the reservation?
The reservation?
Yeah, you were like, in LCS. Like,
well, maybe you could argue like Vasily and fucking.
All right,
We don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. I was, you know, we can move on. We can move on. We're not going to talk about this. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I didn't get to talk to you after MSI. How was your break? How was MSI for you? Like, you were my last interview of last year, right? You're like, hey, I'm going to international. It's going to be different. Blah blah blah. Didn't quite pan out. Right. What did you take away? For me, a lot of it was looking at. I think now I've actually gotten a lot better at looking at sort of just. I felt like I was sort of checked out and I was complacent. And I was okay with losing it, like just being the best in NA. And I think now I've had a lot of discussions with specifically Mithy. I talked to Mithy about how you know, he noticed like compared to 2021, I haven't been as motivated. You can just say motivated, I think is the best way to put it, is just I haven't been looking for those small 1%, you know, increases in skill with like a lot of effort, and obviously there's diminishing returns when you put in so much effort and you get a little bit better and it's obviously really hard. Yeah.
But I think I've definitely after MSI realized that like, you know, I cried for the first time after losing MSI. That was like the first time I ever cried after losing a league game. And that's when I realized like, I really care about being good internationally.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm okay with losing, just being in NA. And I played international. I was like, I'm not okay with it actually.
What after which game?
It was after the last game when we lost. When we lost completely, and I felt like I like played awfully the entire tournament, and it's not where I want to be. And I think after that, I've definitely been way more motivated, and I think it's obviously like there's bad habits of like you know, just being okay with not reviewing every single little mistake that obviously we win against 100 Thieves today, for example, and we made a couple mistakes, but it's easy to not review them because the game felt overall pretty good, and there wasn't really any huge punishes from the enemy team. But just remembering that feeling that I had at MSI motivates me to then push and look for those small mistakes that I have been making that will be punished internationally.
Yeah, I mean, when I go back to that game, I think it's easy to sum it up like, oh, there was one big fight at Drake and they lost it, and then you snowballed.
Exactly.
But there was like also 3 members before that, 3 members up at top lane.
Right.
You did a good job against Double F to clear out the wave. Blabber came and covered, and I'm not sure if you saw it, or if you knew it, but they were going to dive, and then Blabber showed up and they ran away, right? Like,
exactly.
Those are the moments that you're trying to find and solve. Like, I'm trying to just contextualize for fans.
A lot of it is small. I think specifically when it comes to me and individually, I think a lot of it is small laning mistakes. Where, for example, yesterday I was playing Kennen against Renekton, and I warded Tribush instead of warding River, and then Vi queued over the Baron pit and then was able to get into the bush and kill me with ulti at like level 8-ish. And those sort of mistakes I have been consistently making, but I'm okay with making them because 99% of the time it doesn't get punished.
Right.
But against a good team, they see that Tribush ward, Vi is always doing that, and FlyQuest punished it.
Yeah.
And that's another reminder for me, like, if you make that mistake, you keep making the mistake, it's gonna haunt you at international tournaments because they punish it even better.
Yeah.
You know? Stuff like that where I think today's game I'd have to review, obviously, and that's the whole point, but obviously there's always a lot of small laning things, very, very, like, things that, like, even publicly, like, oh, this like sort of click, or like you weren't thinking about where their jungler was at this time, so you traded here, and then he's coming up in like 30 seconds, and he's gonna like force you to recall, some stuff like that, where like you just look for those small edges, and those are the things that internationally is what kind of fucks you over.
Give me the state of the league right now, just because it is right now, for all intents and purposes, according to the pundits, it's a Cloud9 and everyone else. You have TL that is undefeated as of this video.
Right.
But how do you guys feel about it? Because it goes back to my question about how do you practice those things when you're not getting that practice?
For me, I don't feel like I'm individually a lot better than the rest of the league, but I do feel like as a team we're way more coordinated than the rest of the league. I think that we're definitely the best team in the league, and TL is the closest to us. But for example, I don't feel like I'm better than Summit right now when it comes to laning phase, and I'm not really super confident that if we keep playing this way and we don't heavily improve like a lot of our small errors, that we're going to just be able to win Summer Split easily.
Sure.
And that's where I want to be by playoffs. I want to feel like we clearly are just fundamentally better. We have all these small things that we do that other teams aren't thinking about. And that's how it felt like last split in spring playoffs. and that's how I want it to be. So we're definitely still, I think we're very self-aware of like being, the possibilities of us getting complacent, just because we won 2 splits in a row, and we're playing now, and we're like 5-0 now, whatever it is, 5-0, and it feels like the league is easy right now. But we start losing a couple games, we're gonna start mental booming. We're gonna start, there's a million different issues, and I think we're all very like experienced and capable of staying focused.
We've had a lot in this interview, so I'll let you go with this last question.
Okay.
That is the last question of this year. Tell me a story about a former player or coach, preferably not playing still, so that we can go in a little bit. You don't want to give ammo to guys that are currently playing. That comes to mind, whether it's funny or weird or whatever. Give me a story.
Isn't playing anymore? I haven't played with many players that aren't playing anymore.
Okay, well tell me about another player.
Okay, well in 2021 Summer Split Playoffs, Perkz and Vulcan almost got into a fist fight in the middle of the series after Game 2.
Is this the Sunburn one?
No, Perkz was playing TF, and he ulted into the red buff and died. And then after the game, he made a comment that Vulcan got really pissed off, and then it was a bit intense. It was a bit of like a, I want to first pick Orianna, like we played too slow, is what Perkz said. And then Vulcan was like, you completely into this game, shut the fuck up. And then it was like, I was just that little rookie sitting in the corner, I was like, but yeah, that was fun. That was like my favorite moment on 2021 C9. And then we ended up losing the series, which was rough, but it's a good story. They're cool now, I believe.
Well, now I gotta go verify.
You don't have to verify. It's fine. It was a fun story. It's 2021, guys. 2 years ago. Come on.
All right. Well, I guess to figure out the end of this story, if they're cool or not, keep it locked here on dGon Esports. Fudge, man. Appreciate you, dude.
Dude, I wasn't sure because I don't feel like I played with a lot of players that were like.